Sergeant America coming at you. Boom! Today, the baby has been taken away by the wife. It's just me and the cat, so if you hear any noises, it's the cat instead of the baby. So don't call animal or children's services if you hear weird noises. But anyway, you're here for the books, right? So, small, fairly small for most people, about average for me, Paul. Red Hood and the Outlaws, number 25. This comes just before the big change. Look at that beautiful, beautiful cover. This is the what do we call this? The Virgin, the Nude, the B cover, whatever you want to say. Whatever they are, I love them. I'm starting to get most of them now, unless they look weird. But this Red Hood has been awesome. Be interesting to see how they kind of wrap up. I know they're going in a different direction with Mr. Hood, so it'll be interesting to see what happens after this. And I believe this is Dexter Soy's last issue as artist, which makes a big factor for me. So this may be my last issue. So, let me just put these away. No. All right. And, of course, Catwoman number 2. Once again, another beautiful B cover, nude cover, whatever you want to call them. Jolie Jones. Both are the same person. This wonderful book has just been amazing. Of course, her art is outstanding, and it is a wonderful storyline, too. I was a huge fan of her with Lady Killer, so I'm definitely picking this up. It's just been wonderful, and can't wait to dig into this. I think this is probably my first read for today. Oh, by the way, you may be wondering, hey, he kicked out a video pretty early. Had a meeting, so I was... I work overnights, and the meeting ran right up until when the comic store opened. So, boom, I was through the front door, picked up my books, said my hellos, my ta-das, and quickly rushed home. And I found out my wife took my daughter to library time, so now I'm going to get a couple minutes to do this, a couple of minutes to download it, and then sleep for a couple hours and try and flip my schedule again. So, Farmhand number 2. Of course, I was a big fan of Chew, and after I heard some people's reviews of Leviathan, I figured out that it's probably the art of Chew and Gilroy's style that I really enjoyed. So, the art that you see on the cover is the art that is in the book, and I really enjoyed this wonderful Gilroy artwork in the first one. Story was very interesting and very enjoyable, so I'll be pretty interested in that. I notice I'm kind of holding this at a Dutch angle, but my tribute to Batman 66. Boom! Rolled and told. This is interesting. I had no idea. They just put down a bunch of a stack of these on the counter at my shop, and they're like, well, they're free. So, of course, cheapo me grabs one. I used to play D&D, and this is what, I was like, oh, D&D comic? No, this is a module. It has two adventurers, fun adventures. It's 6 to 12 hours of play, fully illustrated map, 64 pages, packed full of beautiful illustrations. Comics with each full adventure, so I guess there's comics in here. I'll look for that. Articles offering tips, tricks, and budding game monsters. I'm guessing this one is free, and then they'll charge you for the rest of them. It'll be interesting. I flipped through it. It's if you're D&D, it looked like it's fun. Something just quick to pick up and do. So, Mr. John Runyon, I recommend this. But once again, at least this one was free, so I'll be interested to see that. It is heavy, too. For being free, I mean, the cardstock is good. It's got, nice pages in there. I mean, dang. I just think it's really nice, so... And of course, because I said I'm cheap, the dollar wall. The dollar wall is just amazing at my store and is growing now. And I love helping them out by getting rid of product they don't really want anymore. So, Captain America issue 322, originally 75 cents. I paid $1 for it. But of course, it's because it is just, I have no idea who this character is on the cover right offhand, but I thought it looked amazing. I'll be interested to read this. The old 25th anniversary of Marvel. It's I believe this is the style and years that when I was picking up comics, so it'll be fun to read through that and see what that's like. Along that same line, boom! Here comes the New Mutants, number 43. Once again, another 75-cent comic I paid $1 for, but it looks like fighting the Hellions maybe. So I thought that looked pretty good. I did not really read a whole lot of New Mutants when I was growing up. I was collecting, I think, probably maybe 83 to 90. It was my main comic time. That's when I was buying them and then throwing them all into a big box. I mean, it was a huge box. So none of those ever survived anything. But I remember it was like Punisher, and then they would talk about the Punisher van and that, and I loved it, and I was big into the Marvel Universe, like encyclopedia comic that, A is for the Aardvark, and then you'd learn all about the Aardvark's power and all that. I was just a big, huge fan of that, so that's kind of where I started. Originally, when I was very young, I was very lucky to have libraries that actually had comics in them. So I remember like the Amazing Spider-Ham, Power Pack was my favorite at that time. And then my grade school after that, Spider-Man, with some of those beautiful covers. And then, like I said, then I didn't do anything for a while, and then started collecting Punisher and some of them at that point. The Secret Origin of Shazam, boom! Another 75-cent comic. I think maybe this is even number 3 of the Secret Origins. So it'll be very interesting to see Roy Thomas, Jerry Bingham, and Steve Mitchell. I like Shazam, and it'll be interesting to see what they reveal in here. So, and then lastly, because once again this kind of reminds me back in the old days, XMen number 1, number 3. So number 3, with Archangel in there, Psylocke after the Siege Peril. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. A Wolverine in the brown outfit. It'll be interesting to see, what this was. I think this is probably towards the end of my buying and collecting. I remember getting the X-Force ones. I enjoyed those also. Oh, kitty. So yeah, it'll just be interesting. It'll be fun to do it. Oh, and once again, look, Dungeons and Dragons on the back. So yeah, this reminded me. This is when I was spending all my money on Dungeons and Dragons instead of comics. So I was missing out on a chunk, and like I said, who cares? Because all those are gone to the ether of moving and wherever the hell they went. So anyway, though, that's my pull for this week. It was mainly just the Farmhand, Catwoman, and Red Hood was the big thing. I was debating Unnatural, but it ended up that since I know it's already been printed and now it's kind of a re-release, I know it's all going to be done on Image. I'm just going to pick up the trade. And the single was nice, but like I said, since I already know that there's so much of it already done and out there, I know they're just going to do it. So, yeah, I'm not worried about it gets to issue 5 or 7 and then gets canceled for low sales. I think it's already in the can. So, that's kind of it for my week. I can't wait to start reading these, but like I said, I gotta sleep at least 3 to 5 hours. The reason it's so short, like I said, it's the beginning of my weekend, but I just got done with a 10-hour shift, so now I gotta sleep and then try and hang out with the family after that, work a couple days, and then flip back to my midnight to 8. So, don't cry for me, Argentina. I know, we all got to do what we all got to do to afford our comics, right? Catchphrase.